Yeah, sorry, it's me again. I wanted to just say something personal about the last 4 years and what I've endured. Today, I had really hoped I would be standing before you, relieved and grateful that after 4 years of trying to show a simple truth, DEFRA and George Eustice had finally chosen a better way. Instead, they chose slaughter rather than creation. The possibility of the creation of the first mRNA vaccine against bovine tuberculosis. Geronimo was to be the figurehead of a proposal which would have helped create a BTB vaccine, first in animals and then in people. However, today I stand before you without Geronimo, but resolute. What Geronimo meant and what he still stands for is to demand that facts and science lead our policymakers, not outmoded thinking and prejudice. The bullies in DEFRA who abuse their positions today still have not had the courage to be honest. They hide behind the government legal department, cowering and pathetic.
Shame on DEFRA!
APHA vets tortured Geronimo and still refuse to tell me how he died. They hide in plain sight behind misleading claims which you, the public, have all seen straight through.
Accountability!
DEFRA and APHA manipulated test protocols because they could. They have written laws without parliamentary scrutiny because they could. They threw tantrums when they could not dissuade me from their chosen path. In desperation, they blamed New Zealand in 2018 when they still could not get Geronimo dead. They threatened and intimidated me and others. It did not work. More recently, they wheeled out experts who knew nothing about the facts of the case, let alone camelids. The only constant in all of this was Geronimo himself. He watched as people in power came and went. Unfortunately, George Eustice came back and we were stuck with his ignorance, incompetence and silence. There is a long list of people who contributed to the barbaric torture and murder of Geronimo 8 days ago. George Eustice, Christine Middlemiss, the Chief Veterinary Officer, Michael Gove, Theresa May was Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, still Prime Minister, Lord Gardiner of Kimball, the Biosecurity Minister, and Lord Benyon, who had every opportunity to stop this. They tortured me for 4 years simply for asking a fair question. They could not make me consent to kill a healthy animal. So in vengeful desperation, they chose to torture and destroy Geronimo in front of the world. Why? Why? To punish me for daring to question their dogma and dishonesty. They set me up as an example of how you must never challenge DEFRA. If you do, they will damage you by whatever means to ensure you are stopped. Well, you have not damaged me, DEFRA, and you won't stop me, the UK government.
Go, Helen!
The torture continues. I have asked how, when and where Geronimo died. Nothing, no answers. I have constantly asked for the results of his post-mortem findings. All I have is a summary of the initial examination. That shows, just like the other 9 camelids that we know have died, that there were no signs of TB on visual inspection. DEFRA say Geronimo must have been infected over 6 years ago in New Zealand, yet not one sign of TB on post-mortem. And the other results, we want to know those too. They have done other tests and taken samples, and nothing has been shared with me to date. I wonder why, and that makes me really angry.
Yes.
Geronimo was the innocent victim of arrogance, ignorance, ego, and greed. All who looked the other way and did nothing to stop this, hang your heads in shame. You were warned of the backlash by the electorate if you touched Geronimo. You did it anyway. DEFRA have always had choices, several over 4 years, and a further one on the very morning that they descended to slaughter him. They failed to take those choices. I always made it very clear I would not give consent for the euthanasia of a healthy animal, and I stand by that. Yes. DEFRA made the choice to torture him, to remove him by force without any knowledge or care. They should have provided trained, competent vets. They did not. DEFRA is a shambles that breeds ignorance and dishonesty. Tom has already told you 140,000 badgers, soon to be 200,000 if they get their way. Millions of cattle, at least 9 camelids, of which we are aware of, that died the same way as Geronimo through multiple priming of an unvalidated test. I would just like to say there are some honourable professional vets within the APHA, but they live in fear and they live in frustration, ruled by egotistical idiots for whom money and ego is all encompassing. For those who are outraged and traumatised, rise to the challenge with us and speak up for good. Finally, Geronimo was a blessing in my life. He touched the world. He was loved and was precious to very many people. And he lives on. I miss him, but I will do him the honour of fighting for him and making sure his legacy lives on for all animals.